Welcome. Welcome, everyone. It's Angelo Robles. For those live, it is a Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I hope you're all doing great and heading into the weekend, of course, being awesome. Well, I actually started the business week. It's always 7 days a week, though, but business week, Monday through Friday, fully back from LA, doing something a little similar that I'm doing now. But hey, in the world of AI, 5 days makes a huge difference. I also greatly expanded my kind of PowerPoint presentation. So I think I have a lot more to share now, especially after talking to some families, some of them really, really active in the world, much more so than I thought, and more than most family offices integrating AI. So there are some incredible people taking advantage of the opportunities that are available. So today, for only my second time ever, and hopefully I could get the tech correct and better this time than Monday, kind of my now 47 slide deck sharing everything, just very condensed, that family offices need to know about AI. And no worries, you're not too late. You're talking to someone who's 60. At age 58, I got very involved in this, no tech background. And now, with my holding company, my family office, and my business operations, AI is incredibly impactful. And as many of you who follow me know, it's kind of a little bit of my obsession in the family office world. So, in a second or two, I'm going to kickstart my presentation. Those of you that are watching live or recorded, you just have to DM me uh, or email me, and I'm happy to share the link to the presentation, something that I don't normally do. And my books and my master classes are exclusively for my members only, but I will share this more broad, but still hopefully engaging and somewhat entertaining presentation that I think is going to be critical for everyone, whether you're a principal, a rising gen, a family office executive in the world of finance, legal accounting, or service the community in any way, or simply an entrepreneur. This will be very, very important to you. So on that note, let's see if I can get this right as I go into a screen share. And without further ado, I think I got it. We are going to begin. It worked. Now, I can't see when questions are coming in until I finished, but still ask away, or those of you that know me could text me. And hopefully the presentation's not cut off in any way. And again, I'm happy to share it. You just have to ask. Send me a DM or an email to angelo@angelorobles.com. Pretty simple. Or DM, which would mainly be multiple ways, but LinkedIn for many of you, or even Twitter. I don't know why YouTube's not good at that. Hopefully they'll enhance their features relative to that to make it easier as well. But on that note, and a little bit of a stark statement, perhaps a little bit of hyperbole, but you get the point. Your family office is already obsolete. It's really the brutal math of what happens when you don't rethink and rebuild now. Okay, let this one sink in. Look at that slide. I'm assuming you're watching. 4 years. That's it. Everything your family office now faces from AI started with OpenAI's basic version of ChatGPT, November of 2022. Oh, well, I want to make this somewhat timeless. That's really 3.5 years ago. This is a baby. And look how much it's grown, and you'll see some of that here, and how powerful it's become. Imagine now with exponential growth through the end of this year, when Claude Mythos comes out, when other competitors come along, when you got me creating apps and getting it on the App Store at my age 6 months ago, where it took a little bit of work. Now with Claude Code and all that's out there, Codex, even Replit and some of the others that have gotten so much easier. It is just that, so much better and easier. It's never going to be worse than it is today. And again, just think of it. Let that sink in. It's not even close. probably closer to 3.5 years. It's not even close to 4 years. And look at the progress. So back when it launched, and even how many of you use it today, in 2022, it talked, AKA chat, and now it executes. Effectively, that's the agents. So again, I think that's a little bit of a let it sink in moment. Sounds like a like a little bit like a baby, right? Like it's born, it learns some sense of emotions and communication, it then learns to talk, and then it really executes. So maybe about 3.5, 4 years is pretty apropos for that as well. Okay, I know this is a hit in the face, but this says it all. If you're only behind a keyboard, no matter how smart you are, you're replaceable. Anything that's logic, that's patterns, that's existing resources and knowledge that could be resourced. And again, AI is never going to be worse than it is today. And this year has been incredible. Imagine in 7 months by the end of the year. But if all you do is your knowledge work behind a keyboard, how do you not see that that is not something that's going to last? If you are incredible at trading or some unique capability, you're that top 1%, you're good this year, maybe next. But how long do you think that moat's going to last for you? So I know this is hard for some of you, but remember, if all you do is only behind a keyboard, you are in today's world. With AI going from chat to doing things, especially, you're replaceable. I said this probably since day one. The tools that you're using now, the AI you're using, is the worst it will ever be. It's only, and rather exponentially, getting better and better. So for many of you, that playbook or what we learned in college or what our family office is doing, it's effectively dead. Just simply thinking from your allocation models, your decision timelines, your reporting cadence, like it's not designed. It's not designed for what's coming next. And trying to wake up the family office community, especially the executives within it, trying to be your best friend and to provide the opportunities where you dominate in terms of your capability and your use of AI. And that's a way to assure opportunity in the years to come. I mean, it's obvious AI isn't coming just for one thing. I feel like it's reshaping everything at once. We look at things in our community like capital flows, decision cycles, market pace, due diligence reporting. The family offices that wait, they'll be forced to rebuild under not the right mindset, knowledge, and compounding of knowledge and experiences that have built up. The ones who move now won't have those obstacles, some of them, again, even psychological, in their way. What is this really, for many people, come down to? Really, it's their arrogance, their resistance, ego, and fear. The four things that will cost, as I wrote here, a family office more than any bad deal ever could. All human emotions, we all fall prey to some of them, including me. I'm nothing special. But the opportunity to acknowledge that, to put our arrogance and ego aside, to move forward in today's unique environment is very, very important. And again, in 2 or 3 years, it may be too late. That opportunity might have passed you by. You're not going to have the mindset or the compounding capability and knowledge and the early edge, because right now the number of people in finance and family offices that are fluid in terms of using the things that I'm talking about, which again, if I could learn it, you could too. It's like 1 to 2%. I think I'm being generous on the 2% that I would say are fluid. Maybe broadly 10, 12, 15% that are using it for aspects and showing some progress, but I think could do better. But the vast majority, easily 85% plus, like in 2 or 3 days of dedicating yourself to this, let alone 30 days, you'll be ahead of all of those others in that 85% bracket. Yet what's keeping you from, or what's holding you back? So I told this story on Monday. When I was at one of the Milken parties, I bumped into someone, a long veteran woman in the world of private equity and in finance out in LA. And she mentioned two, 80 plus year olds, deca billionaires. They built empires in private equity over decades. You would easily know their company name and should know their names as well. And again, what are the key elements I said here? Both of them, not even one of them, both of them over 80. And both of them deca billionaires. The people who least meet the edge are the ones taking it most seriously. That truly is the tell. So imagine, and when I say principal, it could be one of the executives in the family office as well. But the principal is 50 years old, running a sophisticated operation, of course, the family office, and still likely decades of consequential decisions, sometimes every day, still ahead. And yet they're not doing this, but the two 80-year-olds who are already deca billionaires are. And how about the most future forward, highest performing peers in the family office world? Even if for now it's only 1 or 2% of them, but I hope to change that every day, every month by the end of the year. Come on, I got to get those numbers up. And simply participating and being a part in what I do in my role within the family office world and being very future forward thinking and incredibly active, including myself and my operations in AI. And we'll get to some of that a little bit later. Also, when I was around Milken in LA last week, I guess a lot of things happened. Jamie Dimon hit the stage with Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic. Not only did Jamie admit, and what is he, probably late 60s, early 70s, that he's used Claude Code to build a financial dashboard like in 20 minutes. Kudos. Welcome to the club, Jamie. But more importantly, Dario and Anthropic reveal 10, not one, but 10 purpose-built AI agents within the Anthropic suite for financial services, a pitch builder, earnings reviewer, model builder. Now, I'm earlier stage and getting a little bit familiar with them. Wow. And again, it's never going to be worse than it is right now. This is it. This is when you have to get in. What is this going to do to the world of finance? What is it going to do to Wall Street? What is it going to do to family offices? It's early stage. By the end of the year, this will be so much bigger than it is now, which goes to what I'm saying. You are stop being arrogant, get your head out of the sand. You ignoring it is not going to make it go away. You embracing it, learning about it, using the resources in an industry that's been reluctant to is going to give you a massive, massive edge. Okay, a little bit of hyperbole here. I'll give you that. You have multiple Einsteins on call 24/7, 168 hours a week. And you're using what limited use you know how to use of the AIs, mostly really LLMs, is to draft emails and not even know how to prompt and do that good to begin with. You have multiple Einsteins at your fingertips. Now, just think, Einstein slept like, 10 hours a day. This doesn't sleep. And in fields that Einstein was not hyperfluid in, this absolutely knows about way more subjects more broadly on a variety of different things than Einstein ever did. True, Einstein's creativity in math and physics will likely be ahead of where we are right now. So it's a little bit of hyperbole, but how about next month, in 6 months, in a year? There is no question that's going to change and blow by his, I believe it was about a 160 IQ. That's a little bit of a limiting form of intelligence, but it's a good benchmark and something that is going to be probably by the end of this year, let alone within 12 months from now. Like, you have this early stage at your fingertips. And again, you're using it to draft emails. The important thing here is to be the most aggressive user of AI in your field. And that is how you survive, I do say for a time, thrive in an AI world. So, what does it do for maybe someone in the family office world? And a little bit later, we'll get into some very brief kind of quasi case studies, more explaining pretty quickly in terms of what it's doing. But, like, again, if you do it in front of a computer screen, if it's knowledge work, and a lot of that's going to touch finance, legal, accounting, and effectively your workflows, your communications, all of that. Like, it's all impacted right now. Your workflows, your decisions, your reporting, your admin, your due diligence, your deal support, your comms, your ops. Like, what is it not really touching? What is it not going horizontal to? And effectively, if you know how to use it, make it better. And again, it's never going to be worse than it is today. This is not going to go backwards. So if you're doing it again, and I know it's a simplistic definition and maybe not perfectly true, but effectively it's just on a laptop on a screen. And yes, I know you're human, you're using your judgment, you're juggling different things. And if you're the top of the top at what you do, you're probably correct, but you don't work 168 hours a week. You would still benefit from the resources this is providing you. And sorry, not all of you are top 1%, 2% at what you do, but using some of the resources that are available to you can make you an incredible user utilization of the resources available to make you incredible, but you're still holding yourself back. I mean, AI doesn't just give you an edge. Like, building on what I said, it kind of does give you a moat. Operational advantages large and fast, that catching up becomes a problem that others that are chasing you as competitors or peers will really have a very hard time solving. I kind of mentioned this one before. Early movers are compounding. Think of that word a little deeper. Compounding advantages every quarter, like every day. In 18 months, the gap between being AI native in your knowledge in a family office and everyone else, I think by then it might be permanent. So your mindset, the capability of you, your family, your services, what you offer, coupled with the actual utilization, while it may be a little harder, that capability, that compounding knowledge, and that edge that it gives you before everyone else starts to do it, I think is something that many of you are really falling asleep on. So 3 shifts that no family office is prepared for. I mean, AI agents are going to be digital employees. Let's just be blunt and honest about it. No, they don't clock out. They don't quit. And, well, they don't need managing. Well, sometimes they do, and they do need to be fixed. You ever use OpenClaw before? But they could be incredible amplifiers of your capability. They'll never be worse than they are today, and they are going to live up to the promise of what they could be sooner rather than later. Like humanoids are coming. That's going to take more time. Physical AI in your operations, logistics, and properties, for those of you that are real estate holders, I think sooner than you think, but sure, okay, that one you may have a little bit of a block of time on, but it's coming. Don't you want to get behind it from in investing? And again, what did I say earlier in terms of your mindset and compounding of your knowledge and capabilities? And although we're not going to have enough time to go into the last one, I covered it a little bit with Bill Barheit, special guest, well-known figure, CEO of Abra, on my platform yesterday. If you didn't watch it, go and listen to it up on, or watch it on a LinkedIn replay, or more than likely my @family office on YouTube. But tokenized finance, every asset, every transaction, every settlement on chain with no intermediaries. We spoke a little bit about AI agents using these kind of tokenized finance, effectively crypto, siloing it, setting it up, monitoring it, at least initially. I mean, this is where things are headed. The strategy, the orchestration is still going to need the importance of humans who know how to do this well. The execution is going to move more and more autonomously. It's already happening. I'm already doing it. And imagine again, I know for like the 10th time, it'll never be worse than it is today. It's going to get better and better. Like 5 years ago, like I just think, like the AI capabilities we're discussing now, like ChatGPT wasn't born yet. It still had about like a year and a half to go. They were inaccessible to any family office, no matter who that person or family is. But now it's kind of democratizing things. Think about it. Every top tier entity, the Rockefellers, the Pritzkers, every major sovereign grade family office lacked the access back then. Now they have effectively the same, you have the same access that they have. This makes it easier for you as maybe only a high net worth individual or a smaller family office to have the resources to compete. And absolutely not the subject today. But for those of you that may be, smaller than the classic 250 million, $500 million for a family office, absolutely using some of the privacy control and customization strategies of a family office, lender versus the IRS for tax advantages, and resources, including AI, at your fingertips now, having a single family office at lesser AUM than ever before, and for a time opens up opportunities for employment in the family office, probably more so as 1 or 2 person operations. Everything is changing. 10%, and am I being so generous on this? I'm assuming you're looking at the slide. That's how much of AI or the LLM's resources that your family office is using now. And oh my God, am I being generous on that 10%? The other 90%, like it isn't waiting for you to catch up. Again, you're using this to draft emails, and 80-year-old decabillionaires are looking at it as strategic thinking partners for multiple hours a day. Like, what do they know that you don't? And what successes have you had that they don't had? And yet they're the ones actually actively doing this. Now, again, this goes back to that question about the 10% of the value you're getting out of it. Look at this slide. Most people ask AI questions, and you ask it badly. The smart ones make AI compete. Now, in my masterclass, this is a deep dive in my books and deeper resources. But you need to master these frontier models. Anthropic's Claude, Gemini, Grok, OpenAI. Perplexity, we'll get to them in a second, is a bit unique, but those are the big 4 from a frontier models. You need to understand prompting. You need to use meta prompting, something in the master classes we go much deeper into to sharpen the input, and then run the task, the prompt, and the follow-up. Yeah, it is a little frustrating sometimes. Through the platforms, often more than once, fine-tuning it, and then having them battle each other for the best answer. If it's that important to you, and by the way, what I described, maybe it's 5 minutes. Come on, you're kidding me. You need to have the capability of doing this. Now, there's something with an Anthropic called Claude Skills. We're not going to have the time to do a deeper, I may touch on it a little bit more since apparently Anthropic is next up. So yes, I do think Anthropic broadly has the best suite. Right now, ChatGPT 5.5 is deep reasoning, communication, what they're doing in codecs and images might be the best at what it does. There are some things I like Gemini best, including for stock picks and for images with Nano Banano. Certain things Grok with market sentiment, but you still have to kind of use all of them. And yeah, a little disappointed in Anthropic's Claude 4.7, but that mythos, whatever you want to call it, will certainly be coming out, and that's going to be quite the monster. But the broad suite of Anthropic services and how well they're run, their core capabilities, their thinking LLMs, their Claude code, it's so good. Collaborative co-work, I mentioned before with skills, how to set things up to make your life easier for yourself, your family office, and a little bit more better for a quasi-institutional memory. Now, we could get into how to set up tasks and projects and what's context window. That's a deeper dive that my books and my masterclass go into. Their design tools are incredible. I mentioned before, with Dario on stage with Jamie, the 10 specialized finance agents that are noted here. And overall, they're managed agents for automation. Now, I did mention, damn, this is so underrated. Claude Skills is easily the most underused part, probably of Claude, but I'm not so sure within like Every LLM. You build a custom instruction set once and it runs every time. Your tone, depending on your outputs, your logo, your coloring of your designs and all that, but your frameworks, your deal criteria, your compliance rules. Stop re-explaining yourself to AI, wasting time. It loses the context. Teach it once and you got to update, I guess, but deploy forever. If you're using Anthropic Claude and not using this, like again, this goes back to like you have to, you typing in a sentence into GPT or Claude, aka a bad prompt, and getting back a mediocrity of an answer and saying this sucks. No, you're not understanding it. Yet somehow the 280-year-olds that are legends and decabillionaires, they are. And sadly, they didn't even, I don't think, attended or got my books or my masterclass. Like, these are things that you need to accelerate your knowledge. I mean, I go back to, we're what, in like early mid-May now, an opportunity to join what I'm doing, to get my books, to participate and be a part of my June 23rd and 24th immersive with incredible faculty in New York. Within the next, that's like 5 weeks away, with the before that, you're going to have an edge over 99% of the people in the family office world. And then when you put it to use and you come back again in the later summer and you're working on it in the midsummer, imagine you coming out of the summer. You will have such an incredible advantage for yourself, your organization, your family. Like, this is something that you can't just ignore. So one, I hope you're all enjoying. I'm assuming you could see the visual just like I could see it. It'll be very, very disappointing if not. Unfortunately, I can't go and check the chat until I'm finished, which is probably 15 more minutes on the PowerPoint. Then we'll see if you all want to interact. And again, you just have to DM me or send me, hey, Angelo, could you send me the link to this PowerPoint? And it's all yours. Here's something underrated. Within the Gemini suite is NotebookLM. Really, really good. I love it for kind of pitch deck reviews. It's technically structured, which also has some limitations when I say this, but with zero hallucinations, still gives to me comprehensive analysis. And it does something unique. It has effectively a podcast feature. It takes what you inputted and creates often a 10 or 20 minute, so realistic, sometimes male and female, two kind of podcast voices discussing the opportunity in the car or for other purposes. It's kind of a cool feature, but I probably like 1% of you are using it. It's easy. Start to use it. A Perplexity computer, that's what they call it. It's not literally a computer. It's Perplexity. It's $200 a month. It's a powerhouse. It uses a variety of different models. It chooses what it deems to be the best one for that given task. And it has the capability of being autonomous agents completing a task to end. So it doesn't just advise or chat, it acts. And for $200 a month and kind of a starter point, maybe to understanding some more of the depth of use of AI and from chat to doing things, it's really good. There's other things I use it for too that I discuss in my books. We're not going to have a lot of time to go into this, but many of you know it's one of my core calling cards: sovereign AI versus consumer, aka frontier. So consumer frontier models, yeah, they could be the most hyper powerful at the highest level. I get it. You have Gemini, you have Grok, you have Anthropic's Claude, you have obviously OpenAI's ChatGPT, but you're kind of a tenant. Your data is kind of on the rented infrastructure. Oh, we don't have time to get into, do you access it through AWS and Bedrock and you get some level of containment? Yes, those are all things that help. But you're subject still to, I don't know, government subpoenas, them not liking you, changing your mind. Suppose they're lying about, or oops, a mistake about not spying in on you. Suppose they change terms, data breaches, subpoenas that I mentioned, potential access termination. So sovereign AI solutions, you have the proper hardware, which does cost some money, Mac Minis, Mac Studios, DGX Spark, etc., and you run open weight models you download with Hugging Face or Llama onto your more high-powered computer, and you don't bleed your IP to the cloud. Not the discussion today. Well, do I orchestrate and deep think with the frontier models, but then I execute? You're relatively on the right track with the open weight models. How do you sync that together? How do you make it work with OpenClaw? That is a deeper dive that my books and a masterclass will go into. So with sovereign AI, you cannot be canceled. You cannot be deplatformed or locked, like God forbid, out of your own intelligence. And if you're someone who cares about your privacy, about control, and you're doing complex work in finance and want it to be private and not share it, and you're a family office, which privacy and control are like probably among the big three, along with customization, and you don't understand more about the sovereignty aspect and the risk of how you're using AI now, shame on you. But luckily, that could be relatively easier owned or understood. And yes, actually, literally owned. So it really is about controlling your future. And closed AI, the frontier models, kind of means that someone else is holding the keys. Open weight models could include Llama, Mistral, DeepSeek, GLM, Kimi, Quen. I mean, there might literally be millions of them, but like, go on Hugging Face if you don't believe me. But these are some of the more popular ones. Your data stays yours. Yeah, it's not going to be quite as high flying. It's like 6 months behind on some of the deep reasoning. But do you always need that? Do you always need the full breadth of services? And again, we go into the balance, the science and art of frontier and sovereign, and balancing them through orchestration, execution, deeper in my books and my masterclass. And yeah, if you're going to get into things like your own agents that are not on a frontier model, aka say Anthropic Claude, but that's a hell of a way to start and going to be convenient for many of you and at least get you walking before you're running, but then buying and waiting if you're Apple, a product user, for the right hardware to come in. But by now, your mindset and the compounding knowledge will make it easier for you to become more sovereign, to consider using things like OpenClaw and Hermes and Paperclip for governance and Weaviate for institutional memory, Obsidian, etc. Those are all, and we look to have an incredible guest that I hope that Alexander Wisnergross's team introduced me to per my request to come on the show more publicly, but also do something exclusive for my members coming up in, I hope, 30 days. So stay tuned. I'm not going to go through all 12 of these. When you request and get the link to PowerPoint, so it's all digital, it's very convenient, not going to take up a lot of space, you'll have a chance to do a little bit of a deeper dive. Maybe I'll randomly pick out 3 of them. So in the past, the CIO might have had multiple analysts, 4 weeks, tens of thousands of dollars theoretically internally and or sometimes externally in billing hours for a complete review of an investment opportunity via a deck. Imagine if that could be done, even with before mentioned NotebookLM, in like 9 minutes. The AI ingests that deck, flags inconsistencies, stress tests assumptions, generates the memo, maybe for the investment committee. The same rigor, but did I simplify this? Is it a little more complex than that? Do the analysts really need to take that long? Well, sometimes they do. Now, don't get me into Parkinson's law about expanding time that's allotted, when there's too much time allotted, when it could be done quicker, and really how effective and efficient are you in your time every day. Those are practice management discussions, putting on my Peter Drucker hat for a little bit of a different time. You could easily get portfolio risk briefing every morning at 6 because it works 168 hours a week. And how you set it up, what you API or link it into, and how it gets you that resources, and even working on it from your Telegram or something you could do audio that makes it easier, which I like. Boy, I know I'm throwing kind of a lot at you without giving maybe as much context, because I do want to buzz through this a little bit. I do want to take it to the home stretch, see if there's any more specific questions. And you could get this by requesting, let's call it a PowerPoint, but my link to this by just letting me know. Oh, I do love me geopolitics. That's very easy to tie into and get. Uh, we'll touch more with an example on the next gen shortly. Again, I'm going to blow through this. This one's a little bit important to me. It was easy for me to know how to navigate and work with AI, multiple of them, have them battle, have them ask me questions, creating my mission statement, my vision statement, my constitution, and effectively reviewing my governance inside my operations and my family office. Now, yes, do I know a lot of people in the community? Did I take it to someone to kind of touch it up a little bit at the end? But I basically got 90% of it there, theoretically, in hours, as opposed to taking weeks and weeks and weeks and sometimes getting mediocre output for a variety of different reasons. Again, the knowledge work, like, don't be foolish here. Things are changing and changing very rapidly. Yeah, like, I mean, we all get NDAs. We can redline these in 90 seconds, setting up the parameters, some of them that I noted in Claude and Claude Skills, working with these resources on legal. It's been so valuable to me from a variety of different perspectives. I'm still figuring out some of the tax angles, uploading the IRC, having the right context window, breaking it down. That's been a little more frustrating, but we're getting there. And some of those insider secrets I'll share at the masterclass. Yeah, I mean, if you set it up properly and get the institutional knowledge you need, and even setting up a variety of different things, including, and this is impactful to standard operating procedures, best practices, where you may have used Loom in the past in videos, all of this from searching family thinking, history, decision-making. I mean, honestly, it's just getting so much easier. Again, like, you're using these SaaS programs, you're paying for it. They break down. You probably only use part of their horsepower. Some of them are big brand names. You know that you could use Claude Code, Replit, Cursor, a lot of these programs, and talk into existence effectively what you want. That if I could do it, you could do it. And when I did it, like I described earlier, 6-7 months ago, it was a little hard back then. Now it's so much easier. The world of software totally and software as a service is completely changing. Let's put aside the investment discussion on that. Just simply everything. You're going to custom design so much more effective, efficient for what you do, and way better on cost savings and control and privacy as opposed to a third party. But the industry, family office, often consultants, they're not telling you this because it's not as beneficial to them. And a lot of them are somewhat arrogant and ignorant to the value that this provides. They want to keep the existing system going because basically it pays their bills. You have to wake up to a lot of the reasons why and behind something. And as things are changing so rapidly, like, you're stuck in something that how it used to be, even last year, 5 or 10 years ago, that's gone. It's become better, which is more effective and way more efficient, and often way more private and control in your platforms, in your hardware. And you're not sharing it. You're not subject to cancellation mistakes and at least breaches from those outside parties. And they fill you with this misinformation and misdirection, and it's complete nonsense. And I'm calling the industry out on it. If you want to debate me on it, anytime. Like, I'm someone who actually actively looks for debates in the industry, and very few people on a variety of subjects. Bring it on. Geopolitics, macroeconomics, investing, family office, dynastic structures, definitely AI. Like I want to hear the other opinion. I'm willing to get out of my echo chamber. Just, I find that a lot of people come a little bit with their biases, their arrogance, their ignorance, their fear, and really unprepared. But maybe, of course, some of you are different. We'll skip this one. You could look at it yourself. I want to keep it going. This, I think, is underrated. Next gen education. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say that like a chief internal education officer is not valuable for certain families with the right person, the right family it is. You could just do variations of that so much more effectively. And imagine when AI starts to have holograms and different voices from the past and makes all these figures come to life. it could already do that, a variation. Again, I mentioned earlier having the power of an Einstein or how a Musk thinks or others at the fingertips, creating videos with all these incredible resources that are available now and the institutional knowledge of that family. All of it is changing. A custom personalized curriculum dedicated to that family. It's all there now. It's not going to get worse. It's only going to get better and better. I already went over, this is a little bit, again, the mindset shift and the compounding. So we'll just buzz through that. Okay, I'm going to leave you with another tip. We're almost done. Like another one where you don't need a consultant. What you probably need is 72 hours. Hello, like 3 days. And granola, no, not like the cereal, which I do like if it's really good and not too sweet. Granola software is going to get you there, but you can get by without it. Why don't you take a block of 3 days where you think you're going to be really busy? Why don't you write down exactly what you're doing, kind of what the goal is, why you're doing it. And I'm going to say, if you know how to prompt, had to feed that into AIs to get better at being effective and being more efficient. But why don't you also, it's a pretty modest fee, get granola. And when you do phone calls, how you could structure it with that, you go to meetings, or you simply like to talk things through, you wear it almost like a lapel if you want, and then it converts that in a variety of different ways to digital and or written text, and you do the same thing. So now you're using it as a hyper high IQ strategic consultant to you in whatever field, legal, accounting, finance, obviously family offices. Like, this is all right there now. Like, again, imagine how good this is all going to be in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. I dare even say 3 years. Like, everything that we know is probably going to be flipped, but your mindset and compounding started now is going to be very, very valuable. Learning how to do certain strategies and prompting to get the best. So I do like the devil's advocate mode, kind of imagine 4 dimensions of attack. And I give some highlights here. It'll be boring if I read them, which is why you have to request the PowerPoint. But here's the important one. It's this. This is an example of a prompt. Now, part of it's going to be, again, you need to explain your idea, plan, decision, describe it like my note says over there, attack the 4 dimensions, you offer it rules. This gives the AI, the LLM, a plan, a strategy, a purpose, the end outcome that you want to reach using, in this example, what I call the devil's advocate prompt. Now, prompting is so important, or you're not going to get, chat to execute's important, but the chat is pretty damn important. If you just had chat, that still would be incredibly powerful. Just the execution part takes it to another level. How about the, Socrates and the, his mode, as we call it? Stop asking AI for answers. How about you make it teach you the Socratic method? So, and then I give you an example of a prompt right here. And you're going to get this if you just ask me for this presentation. This is how you at least start to prompt better. There's lots of other strategies, and using meta prompting, knowing, again, how to get the output that you want by having AI help design you the prompts, and using multiple platforms to help to get the best answer, including what I call having them fight each other. I'm going to skip this slide, like what happened in the last 30 days. Anthropic's deal with Elon and SpaceX was incredible for Anthropic. Really good, I guess, for SpaceX and their profitability as well. There's a whole bunch of other things. Claude Mythos is coming, and when that comes out, that made us blow ChatGPT 5.5, or maybe not, out of the water. But I want competition. I want these programs to get better. So there's a lot happening out there. So, just think about it this way. The family office feels like it was often built for kind of the last century, and that was decades ago. It administered complexity. The one built right now that wants to take advantage of these resources and punch way or fight way, way above their weight, the one right now commands intelligence, anticipating threats before they surface and surfacing opportunities before they are visible to what, like 99% of you. I think we hear a lot in the family office world about protecting generational wealth. And I have some thoughts on that. We'll let them sit. But protecting your generational wealth, well, then you better use generational intelligence. And that's the more AI native thinking and family office capabilities that right now are available. I'm not talking the future here, 18 months. It'll be better then. But you need the mindset and the compounding now and the edge you'll get now. You're not doing this for just the sake of doing it. Now, I did mention I would come back to, and we're really not that far away from June 23rd and 24th. So my, Angelo Robles's AI Family Office Masterclass for my members of SFO Continuity and one-off relationships that want to be a part of the masterclass. I really do have the best faculty where AI meets family offices in the world. This is exclusive on every aspect for the family office, of course, including investing. And leading into it, you get the private books, you get some level of us one-on-one, you get the opportunity for some private videos, but then you get there in those 2 days, a little bit of social at night with dinner and things like that, but we're off to work here, like 10, 11 hours a day. You're bringing your computer. You're getting the fire hose, but you're actually taking actions right there. I want you to leave leading up to that with what you get at the end of the masterclass in such a better shape than where you are when you came in. And leading into July 4th, as long as you take some of the actions and move forward on the things that you're learning about and the resources that are at your fingertips and what your peers are doing and the instructors you're going to meet and interact with and maybe have a lifelong engagement or friendship with, that is worth its weight in gold. In gold. You're going to be at such an incredible advantage, like arguably before we hit July 4th, let alone you then taking action on this, keeping in touch with us. I'll do a second one in August. Maybe you come back to that one as well. And then I will do one in November, by the way, as well. And yes, some of our participants went to all three last year. Some of them the second time brought their children. Some of them were pretty young too, maybe like 16, I think, maybe it was 17, might have been the youngest. So we all want to make this work. I do want you to get value out of it. And sure, some of you over time will be able to figure some of this out themselves. And I do believe my books could be incredibly valuable, but you'll all agree being immersed in something with instructors, with your peers, interacting over multiple days, like that's really where you accelerate your knowledge. And is it worth it for you to become a member and pay the cost for that? That's a decision that you're going to have to make. And you would go, as it says there, to angelorobles.com. Again, I've been in the family office community for many, many a decade. I've been there, I've done that, I've done some things great, and maybe some things not so good. I sold, as many of you know, Family Office Association, and rebuilt over the last couple of years in terms of what I'm doing and the value that I provide. And certainly AI and native AI, not the only thing. I love me investing, geopolitics, macroeconomics, family office structures, tax issues, traveling the world speaking, meeting families, generational issues. You bring it on. Like if it involves the family office, I'm not saying I'm always going to be an expert on it, and I hate that word expert. No one's an expert. We're all effectively lifelong learners, white belts. Be humble. What did I say earlier about arrogance and ignorance and fear? That's what's getting in your way. You're letting that get in the way. Your intelligence, your level of success. Again, if the two 80-year-olds that are worth $20 billion, they're putting the time and effort into multiple hours a day into AI. Did you hear my earlier part of the presentation? Why aren't you? So simply, you just need to make the decision to move forward and be a part of the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people. So this is not like a big room of 50. This is like an immersive boardroom. And see if you really want to be a part of it. I describe kind of what I do with my private membership community called SFO Continuity. It really is more than membership, it's a private operating platform for resilient, sovereign, often AI-enabled family offices or those wanting to trend to that, built to endure across the generations. That's the whole thing about continuity and why it's in my company name. We help families move beyond what often is isolated decision-making, fragmented advisor input, and a casual AI experimentation into more peer-tested intelligence, first principles thinking. I am a huge first principles thinking advocate. So that architecture for families and sovereign AI implementation and year-round, again, back to my favorite word, continuity. There's some of the books that I wrote. The vast majority of them are private and only for members, including my 2 books on AI, which I'm basically updating at this stage for the last 3 months, about every 3 weeks. I just can't sit on it. So much is changing just ever so rapidly. But you also, as a member, get my 700-page handbook, Creating a Top 1% Family Office. I'm wrapping up on my sovereign risk and disaster preparedness. That's about a 600-page, more PowerPoint-like monster as well. I got my family office playbook, which is an 850-question framework that's very valuable for newer families, families looking to create a family office, or for sure, existing family offices and generational families, really effectively a checklist. This is my life, everyone. That's not to say that I don't have some outside hobbies besides family and, of course, smoking cigars. I do, but this is, at age 60, this is what I'm passionate about. This is my love. This is what I put decades in. And that torture in the first year or two of not being social during COVID and then selling family office association, like, that's gone. Like, here I am now. This is an exciting time. I find the industry, like I've said before, to be boring, vanilla, way behind the times. And the majority of organizations hosting generic events with a lot of sponsored speakers and very, very limited content or incredible other peers. And I'm imperfect, but I look to change that. And over the last 2 years, I made every effort I could. Recently, my 4 days in Palm Beach cost me a truckload of money in terms of hosting that. And this weekend, I'm going to announce my dates for 2027 for my members, my New York program in September, my Palm Beach program March of next year in 2027. Palm Beach is my baby. That's over 5 days. We'll do something Sunday at National Polo as well. So we look to make it an incredible experience, to bring in some of the most incredible people in the world and families from around the world. So again, jump in. What are you waiting for? Join what I've built. Simply go to angelorobles.com. And now let's see if I know how to get out of here so I could come back and be more visual with all of you. Okay, here I am. It looks like 1 or 2 of you did end up texting me. Thank you. Some of the kind comments. I could see comments now, so I'll maybe stay on about 2 more minutes to see if there's any specific questions relative to broadly on family offices and AI. I know if you're live, it's a Friday. We're trending towards kind of that mid-late afternoon. Come on, though. Like, you're putting in the effort and the time now. I don't care if you're a principal, a rising gen, an executive, or service the community. You're all valuable. I want to be a friend and a resource to you. I do give away, like I'm doing now in my PowerPoint. You just have to DM or email me. And it's a link, by the way. You get that link and it's just all yours. Do what you want with it. You don't owe me anything. But for those of you that want to take it to that next level and be a part of something special, and even forget about my content, my masterclasses, the incredible settings and location. We did incredible things in LA that you should have been a part of during Milken. Multiple soirees and lunches. It's the peers. It's the serendipity of meeting families and executives and family offices around the world, LATAM and Europe, all across the US, great states like Wyoming, that you don't know, and sharing ideas and meeting old friends that maybe you only see once or twice a year. Now, that could get me into best practices, which I think are somewhat overrated. First principles thinking is really where it's at. And again, sure, AI is going to be horizontal to really all of this. So you watched or heard what I had to say, you're going to either send me an email, angelo@angelorobles.com, a DM, a text, 203-570-2898. I guess I could share the link via text. So reach out from any one of those perspectives. I hope you're going to have an awesome weekend. If you didn't hear my interview with Bill Barheit, who's quite the entrepreneur in the world of crypto, and I haven't done too much on crypto lately, and he's definitely a thought leader, that was live yesterday. Next week, I think we have one guest on. I'll leave that a little bit secret. I'll probably do about 2 or 3 solos, and I got some coming up on a high functioning family office and even some LinkedIn posts that I'm really enjoying. Some of the posts that Brian Adams, the recruiter, I actually don't think Brian likes me too much. I wasn't the best guest on a show 2 years ago. That was earlier in my transition, and I wasn't Mr. AI native yet. But I do enjoy some of the work that he's doing and some of his deeper thinking and some of the comments from family offices on what is a high functioning family office and operational issues. There's been some wonderful comments on that. So I'm happy to upcoming share a little bit of that and some of my thoughts. Again, as much as you hear me talk about geopolitics, investing, and obviously AI, my true original love and passion, being someone who just lives and breathes the single family office community, is, you heard me say it before, the incredible work of Peter Drucker, and to a degree as well, Jim Collins and others on practice management. That is what really gets me going. So for me, excellence in the family office, in the person, in the team. Family offices still revolve in this order around quality of team, technology, and systems. Although the people and the technology helps to create the systems. So that's evolving and changing. Might there be one day at some point in the future where technology is that number one spot? There might be. It's not going to be today or tomorrow or next year. But to ignore some of those realities. And back to the people part, and maybe when I go over some of that post by Brian Adams and throw in some of my context to it, like the best family offices, here's one thing they do brilliantly. You want to hear what it is? And no, it's not at the moment necessarily utilize AI, although that's a very good move and maybe a 1B. They hire brilliantly. Your people are your number one resource. And by the way, I don't know why people in the family office world get mad when I mention this. Like, a superstar is absolutely worth their weight in gold. And never tell me that a superstar doesn't want to work in a family office unless it's a, deca-billionaire family of a brand name. Nonsense. There's more of them out there than you think. And sometimes they're worth like 100x someone who's mediocre. It's not a great analogy, but think of baseball. So my international people, unless you're in Japan, Taiwan, and some other countries, are not going to get this one. A pitcher that throws 100 miles an hour versus 50 pitchers that throw 80 miles an hour. Those 50 pitchers are going to get rocked. They're just not good enough in today's game. Teams are going to hit like 750 off them. So that one person, that superstar of a pitcher, is worth 50 others that are technically above average. The average person probably throws 55 to 60 miles an hour, but there is a difference there. Now, part of it depends on the role in the family office. Is it direct investing, amazing tax strategies? It varies. But family office principles, people are number one. Pay your people properly. But damn it, hold them accountable, and they better be damn good. If you're going to have a family office and it's not a desire to be excellent, then I have no interest in you as a member. I want excellence. You want it to be excellent. It costs too much and is too hard and hiring and firing if you're not going to demand excellence in it. Now, that also leads me down the road in LA. We had conversations about winding down a family office, about when I'm an older principal, maybe I want to even simplify my life, and maybe the family office doesn't always do that. And what happens if I get incapacitated or die, and a rising gender spouse is just not really that interested and not going to put in the effort and hold it to a certain bar? There are no easy answers to some things in the single family office community. That's why I love it. And putting on that Peter Drucker hat, I mean, that now you're getting me more excited than AI. But then marrying the two, the resources of AI with practice management, first principles, and the thinking. Man, I love this stuff. Now you're heading into my wheelhouse. And if you believe you would get value from that, go to angelorobles.com. And sure, I want you to be a member. That's where you get the proprietary info, the access that you want, the programming, the master classes, the playbook, and the creating a top 1% family office as well, and the kind of thinking that we could have in discussions back and forth. I actually feel the majority of my members don't use me enough. Use me more. I may know a thing or two. I'm certainly not going to kiss your butt. I actively look for debates. And having the discussion to having you get more better, to be excellent, that's what gets me excited. So everyone have a wonderful weekend. You know how to reach me at angelorobles.com. Look forward to you becoming a member. I hope you see the value in this. And just DM or ask me for, effectively, it's an online link, so it's very easy to what I created originally as a PowerPoint presentation. And thank you all. Look forward to it. Have a great day and weekend.